Hello there, and welcome to Diego Collects. I'm Diego, and I've been a Star Wars fan since 2002, and I've been collecting since 2009. I primarily collect Hasbro 3 3/4 inch scale figures, along with some Black Series, some 1/6 scale, and some other odds and ends from other pieces of media. You can find me at Diego Collects on Instagram and TikTok. I usually post there, but I've been wanting to do a more in-depth tour of the collection. One where I can take you guys around the room and chat about my displays in a way that can't be done in an Instagram reel. So this will be on the longer side, but I place chapters throughout the video so you can skip into whatever section you're most interested in. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the tour. So starting off with what is perhaps the centerpiece of my collection, in my IKEA detops you can see dedicated displays for all 9 episodes of the Skywalker Saga, with the original trilogy at the top, followed by the prequels, then the sequels. You may notice it oddly shifts from 3.75-inch figures to Black Series come the sequels. This is because when the Black Series started, I initially held off on it, having had an established collection at the time. But when The Force Awakens was coming out and I saw how awful those 5 POA figures were, I decided to collect Black Series for the newer films. So that's why you'll see the weird mix of scales here. Starting off with the one that started it all, my favorite Star Wars film, A New Hope. Some Cantina aliens at the back. Missing quite a few, but I think the scene comes across. Got the modal nodes. Some Rebel pilots. Han and Luke in Stormtrooper disguise. A Jawa and a Sand person. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru with R5. And Biggs from the deleted scene. TVC, Tarkin, Madi, and Vader, and Han, Luke, and Leia from the medal ceremony at the end. And at the front, we got the main crew, very much in need of modern updates, but still great figures that I love a lot. Next up, we got the Empire Strikes Back. Starting from the back, once again, we got a probe droid from Power of the Force 2, Luke on his Tauntaun, both from TVC, the Force Link Wampa, Vader in his meditation chamber, Lobot with some Cloud City denizens, Snowtrooper, Hoth Rebel troopers, and some characters in their Hoth gear. 3 3/4 Black Series Luke with the original trilogy collection Yoda in his backpack. TVC Piet and the Saga Ozzel, and all the bounty hunters that Vader hired. Got Han and Carbonite with a Bespin Escape, Leia and Chewie. Lando and Luke from TVC, Black Series Yoda, Vader, and Han and Leia. It's very rare that I get to post figures interacting in that way, so I'm quite proud of it, as rough as it is. And then we got Luke in his unfortunate predicament at the end of the film. And moving on to Return of the Jedi, starting off with Bib Fortuna and Jabba the Hutt, hoping to replace that soon when the TVC comes out. The main crew, as they appeared in Jabba's palace, along with a lot of Jabba's goons with Leia in disguise. At the back, a lot of Rebel pilots, along with Rebel leadership. Some Ewoks with their god, and the Andor strike team. And then down at the front, we got the Haskon Palpatine's throne with Luke and Vader. Emperor's dignitaries, Moff Gideon. The other side, the 2012 speeder bike hovering over an Ewok catapult. And we have the Force Ghosts. So starting the prequels off with the Phantom Menace, we got a Baldroid on a staff. Naboo pilots with Rick in front, with the Astromechs. Various members of the Jedi Council with Quinlan Vos. Yoda on the council chair. Chancellor Valorum with some senators, with Coruscant Padme. Boss Nass and Captain Tarpals. And there's Newt Gunray, Ruin Haku. And at the front, Darth Sidious, the Phantom Menace himself with Darth Maul. Jar Jar, Anakin, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Captain Panaka and Padme. And then we got Watto and Sebulba with Shmi Skywalker. Moving on to my first Star Wars movie, Attack of the Clones. Got Dooku and Django on top of the Geonosis playset. Jar Jar and Anakin in disguise. Palpatine with some senators. Jango and Boba Fett with Zam Wesell, Tao Nui, and a clone trooper. And the highlight of this display, the Jedi Strike Team. I love collecting these background Jedi. You know, as a kid playing with toys, those characters just had the most possibility for me. A lot of interesting stories. And at the back, kind of hidden, is Anakin and Padme in the droid factory. But yeah, I'm very pleased with how these came out and how creatively these characters are posed. I think I did a pretty good job. And like I said, you know, being a kid, seeing all these Jedi in action just opened a window of possibilities. And wrapping up the prequel trilogy with Revenge of the Sith, got Dooku and Palpatine, some Separatist leaders, some Wookiees, Jet Jukasa with a 501st Trooper with Bail Organa and Padme, Vader on the operating table, and Mace Windu with the Jedi that face Palpatine. And down in front, we got the legendary lightsaber duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan atop the platform from the panning droid. The TVC Grievous, best Grievous, Hasbro could never make a better one. Got Sidious dueling Yoda. Mustafar Padme with 3PO and R2. I really like the juxtaposition of Vader on the table looming over Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Sort of like him rising from the ashes of that terrible event. I think it looks really cool. Now moving on to the sequel trilogy with The Force Awakens. I got the Black Series Rey Speeder. And we have the moment where Rey pulls the lightsaber out of the snow with the stands from the Kmart exclusive sets. The very famous Constable Zuvio and the Aguavian Enforcer, Finn and Poe with Elo Asti. 3PO with the red arm with Leia and R2. Maz Kanata with Anakin's lightsaber. Han and Chewie. That SHF Han is just an amazing likeness. Phasma and Hux with Kylo. And then there's Rey and Finn. And at the edge there, we got the elusive Luke Skywalker. Then moving on to The Last Jedi. Really proud of how this one is laid out. We got Rey, Chewie, Luke, and R2 bothered by porgs and the ghost of Yoda. I just love that scene. The other side, we got Snoke flanked by his Praetorian guards. Some First Order troopers and the officer. Kylo, Hux, and Phasma. That Phasma's from the model kit, by the way. And on the Resistance side of things, we got Poe, Holdo, Akbar, and 3PO. And on the Canto Bight side of things, DJ, Rose, and Finn. And front and center, with Rey and Kylo, is Crate Luke, and hovering over him is the real Luke, still on Octo. Really like how that turned out. Based it off how it looks in Galaxy of Heroes. And now, wrapping up the saga with the Rise of Skywalker. Starting off with BB-8 and mind-wiped 3PO carrying everybody's stuff. And Chewbacca. He's without the bandolier to sort of represent when he was a prisoner. We got Rey and the Knight of Ren, Dark Rey, Zori and Janna. Behind them is the SHF stage of Emperor's Throne Room. Got Babu Frick and Dio, Poe, R2, and Maz. And then down here, this is the Melted Vader helmet accessory from the exclusive Kylo. And then there's the Diet of the Force themselves. And looming over them is a custom Palpatine. It's the 2014 one with some red fabric and Kylo's belt. Yeah, it's a shame we don't have many characters from this film. I do hope we get more, hence why some relocated Force Awakens figures are here, just to fill it up a little. And at the bottom most part of the D-tops, I got some odds and ends. Some carded retro collection figures. These are from the 6-pack, that's why they're unpunched. Some Lego sets, Yoda's hut, and the Death Star escape. And this is the Medicom 2.0 Vader. Got some more Lego sets. The Emperor's Throne Room. above the trash compactor. Not a fan of how one stacked over the other, but until I come up with more space, that'll have to do. Snoke's throne room. And the Theed Palace duel with Obi-Wan at the back watching helplessly. More retro collection, this time on the dark side. More Lego sets, Luke's hut, and Ahsoka V Mall. Got a Lego Mando's N1 and a Hot Toys Kylo Ren. Above the D-tops, I've got the Galaxy's Edge X-Wing pilot helmet, the Black Series Vader helmet, and Mando's helmet, also Black Series, along with some ships from Micro Galaxy Squadron. I'm loving this range so far. I hope to get more soon. Next to the D-tops, I've got some carded vintage collection figures. I do hope to invest in some star cases one day, but being from Asia, they're a little bit hard to get your hands on. But I just love the look of a vintage card. Just a classic, iconic look. To the left of the D-tops is where I put more premium collectibles, mostly 1/6 scale figures from Sideshow Collectibles and Hot Toys. Really love that scale. Starting at the top, we have 3 SH Figuarts figures of Anakin, Luke, and Rey, the 3 leads of each trilogy, also representing the same lightsaber being passed down to 3 generations of heroes. Behind them is my Lego Trench Run, and looming over everything, the highest point of my collection is the Jack-specific Darth Vader. Also there is my favorite vehicle of all time, the Republic gunship, with some ARC troopers. We have some live-action ones at the right, and on the other side, got animated ones from the ARC Trooper Battle Pack. Crazy. I never knew they'd be so rare when I first picked them up, but I'm very glad I have them. Moving down to my 1/6 scale figures, starting with the original trilogy, we got Lando and Boba, Sideshow Palpatine, Rogue One Vader, and the main crew in the front. Can't wait to have 3PO when Hot Toys finally releases it, and the Sideshow Yoda. Got Mando here for the time being. I would rather keep the original trilogy pure, but right now, since there's nowhere else to put him, I think he works here. Going to the next, we got the prequel and sequel trilogy. Anakin and Obi-Wan. That Hot Toys Anakin is my favorite piece in the collection. Got Ahsoka and Rex. And on the other side, next to General Kenobi, is the Sideshow Commander Cody. And now at the front, we got the sequels, Finn, Rey from The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren from The Rise of Skywalker, and Luke from The Last Jedi. And at the bottommost, we got my Vault edition of The Jedi Path and Luke Skywalker's lightsaber that I got from Galaxy's Edge. Next to this cabinet, we got some carded figures from different toy lines throughout the years, sort of representing the history of Star Wars toys. You may notice Yoda's missing. That's because I opened him and he's in the Last Jedi shelf right now. Moving on to the next cabinet is where you'll find other Star Wars media, from the standalone films to the TV shows and some legend stuff as well. Starting off this cabinet with the standalone films, along with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor. So starting with figures from Obi-Wan Kenobi, I love that dual Zen Vader. It's got Reva, Tala, and Qui-Gon Jinn. And then in the next row, we got figures from Andor. I do hope Hasbro makes some more. Sad to see them peg-warming these figures, because it's such a great series. Solo A Star Wars Story, with Kira and Han and Dryden Voss over there. Rio Durant, such an underrated figure. And moving on to Rogue One, we got Saw Gerrera, Blue Leader, Darth Vader and Tarkin, Galen Erso, and Leia holding the plans. And then there in front, we got the Rogue One team fully assembled, and Director Krennic. Moving on to what is perhaps my most impressive display, we got Star Wars animation. Starting off with the Clone Wars, we got Anakin and Obi-Wan in their snow gear. some assorted battle droids, a Geonosian drone, Chewbacca, General Loathsome. There's Savage with a Night Sister, who I'm sort of representing to be Mother Talzin, but it's labeled as a Night Sister. Pre Vizsla, leading Death Watch. Snuck a little live-action Bo-Katan in there as well, for lack of an animated figure. Some pilots. Cult, Shakti, Temple Guard. Got Heavy and Cut Up in training gear. Eth Koth with Captain Locke. Dinal, it's one of my favorite trooper designs. Commander Bly with Aayla Secura. Quinlan Voss. The Bounty Hunters led by Cad Bane. General Grievous, flanked by his Magna Guards. Kit Fisto and Nadar Veb from one of my personal favorite episodes. Mace Windu, Plo Koon with Wolf, Luminara with Gree, and Ki-Adi-Mundi with the Flamethrower Trooper. Padme 3PO and Jar Jar, Echo and Fives from the legendary Rookies episode, Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan in their Season 1 and 2 looks, Waxer and Boyle, Savage and Maul. Got Dooku and Asajj with Darth Sidious. Got our main crew from the latter seasons with Yoda, Captain Rex, Jesse. This is where I'd put the rest of the Bad Batch, but sadly Hasbro has only made one in this scale. Moving on to Rebels, we got the crew, the Ghost Crew, Thrawn with Agent Kallus, the Inquisitors, Ahsoka and Vader with Rex, Maul. At the top, we got Vizago, and at the backmost, Leia. At the edge here, we got an ATDP, Walker. And on the other edge, we got Cad Bane's speeder bike and the Assassin probe droid. Next up, we have the New Republic era Disney Plus shows, or basically The Mandalorian and its spin-offs, being Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka. And starting with the Book of Boba Fett, we got Boba on his throne with Fennec seated at his right hand, Krrsantan and Cad Bane, Tusken Boba, a Pike soldier. Moving on to The Mandalorian, we got Durasteel Mando and the Client, a Tusken Raider with armored Cobb Vanth, Mix Mayfeld and Din Djarin in disguise, Luke Skywalker, Mayfeld from the Prison Break. We got the Season 1 crew, IG-11, Greef Karga, R.I.P., and Kuil, Moff Gideon with a Dark Trooper. Moving down, we got the Mando Fleet Commander and the Death Watch Mandalorian. Got Season 2 Greef Karga with Cara Dune. Got R5-D4, Paz Vizsla with the Armorer, Axe Wolves and Koska Reeves, Bo-Katan wielding the Darksaber, and the Mandalorian and Grogu. I absolutely love that new Book of Boba Fett Mando. It's an amazing figure. Moving on to Ahsoka. Got Ahsoka with her apprentice Sabine, Hera and Huyang, Morgan Elsbeth with Grand Admiral Thrawn. That's the Legends one. Marok with Baylan and Shin. I got Baylan elevated on a little box just to fix that height issue. Got Anakin with Vader hovering over him to represent that phenomenal 5th episode. And Ezra Bridger from Rebels. Moving on to Legends and miscellaneous media, we got Disney characters. Macquarie Vader with Infinity's Vader. Ki-Adi-Mundi, Aura Singh, and Sharon Het from the Outlander comic. Sebastian Shaw as Anakin. Big Starklighter. Quinlan Voss. Sweet Choi, Starkiller and his clone with Juno Eclipse and Ram Koda from The Force Unleashed. I'm a big fan of those games. Mara Jade and Jason Solo. Darth Plagueis, Darth Malgus, Bastila Shan, Snow Plo Koon, and Kulteska. They're Clone Wars adjacent media, but still legends. And then at the front here, we have characters from the Tartakovsky Clone Wars, which I loved as a kid. Grievous will never be cooler. It's also my introduction to Asajj Ventress. Got Anakin with the tattoos, Saizzy Tin, Commander Cody. Got some Legends clones carded. It's Apo and Scorch. Funko Pop of Ronin from Star Wars Visions, with the astromech that brings you around in Rise of the Resistance and Galaxy's Edge. This is basically miscellaneous media, mostly Star Wars Legends. And at the bottom most, we have my troopers, from the Republic to the Empire to the First Order. Starting off with my Phase 1 clones, Phase 2, Imperial Stormtroopers, and then lastly, First Order Stormtroopers with some Sith Eternal. Got the clones led by General Kenobi, Stormtroopers led by Vader, and then the First Order led by Kylo Ren. And at the top of the cabinet, we've got some more odds and ends. First thing you'll notice is the Star Wars logo carrying case with some miscellaneous figures, minifigures, keychains inside. On top of that, some Titanium series vehicles depicting the Battle of Yavin. See some various ships that couldn't fit anywhere else in the collection. And some in-boxed items that couldn't be hung on the wall. Moving across the room to my desk is where you'll find characters from other IPs and properties, mostly Funko Pops and some Legos. Starting at the top, we got Hamilton Funko Pops, some Bionicle mocks that I worked on with my brother in the Mock Pages days, classic movies, The Godfather, Dr. No, The Bride of Frankenstein, one of my favorite classic horror movies, Wizard of Oz, pop poster. Got Doc Brown and Marty McFly from NECA Toys, and the Lego DeLorean from way back. A pop of the Arkham Batman and the McFarlane Arkham Joker. The terrific trio from the 60s TV series with their Batmobile, also in Lego. One of my favorite toy lines ever, the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series figures. I love these figures. They really are the animated models brought to life. Next, you got SH Figuarts, Dark Knight, Batman and Joker, pops of Jim Gordon and the Penguin from Gotham, and Batman and Catwoman from Matt Reeves' masterpiece. Moving on to Marvel, we got my favorite Spider-Man, Funko Pops of the original Avengers, Marvel Legends of Miles, Gwen, and Peter B. Parker. Moving down, we got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from the Hasbro Lightning Collection. Have them posed, helmets off. And a Bandai Legacy Morpher. My favorite Hogwarts teachers, Snape and Lupin. Elliot with E.T. The double-decker couch from the Lego Movie. And Indiana Jones from the Hasbro Adventure series. Moving down, Frodo and Sam. 11 in the Rainbow Room. And Team Avatar, missing Zuko. I'm waiting for Funko to make a new one. Hopefully we'll get one soon. The bottom, some classic animation characters. Finn and Jake from Adventure Time, the 2003 Turtles, my generation of Ninja Turtles. Moving to the other side, some Pixar. Moving on to Disney. Jim from Treasure Planet. In my opinion, is the most underrated Disney movie of all time. Troy Bolton from High School Musical, Rafiki, and Mufasa. At the back, one of my favorite rides, the Haunted Mansion in Lego. It's Hercules and Pegasus, Aladdin. My favorite animated film of all time, Beauty and the Beast. And my second favorite Disney movie, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I think is underrated. Moving down to my music legends, got the Lego Yellow Submarine with the Beatles, and some music royalty, two kings and a queen, Freddie, Elvis, and MJ. Moving down to the bottom, some video game characters. We got SH Figuarts Luigi, Bulbasaur, which is my original starter Pokemon, and the Mishimas, the greatest family in all of gaming. And then there's Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2. Got the Lego Peter Pan's Flight, the Fantasia pop moment, which I think is such an iconic scene and an amazing pop moment. And Indy running from the boulder, also an amazing pop moment. So quite a large piece, but it's an iconic one. So there. This is the more eclectic part of my collection. I really like to fill up my workspace with these characters, these icons, and these stories that inspire me. I think it livens up the space really well. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I've certainly enjoyed every chance I get to share this awesome hobby. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. And you can follow me at deeyaygocollects on Instagram and TikTok. I'll be a bit more active there, mainly because it's easier to come up with more short-form content. But I'll definitely be back on this channel for collection updates or for any longer videos I may want to do in the future. I just really love sharing this awesome hobby, and I hope that you can join me as I do that. So thanks again for watching, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Whenever that is. Okay, bye.